I am ranked number one. One! That means I'm the best.
So a High Court judgment has plunged the whole Brexit thing into chaos right now. Theresa May, the Conservative leader, will not be able to bypass Parliament and enforce Article 50, which states, 1. Any member state may decide to withdraw from the Union in accordance with its own constitutional requirements. 2. A member state which decides to withdraw shall notify the European Council of its intention in the light of the guidelines provided by the European Council. The Union shall negotiate and conclude an agreement with the state setting out arrangements for its withdrawal, taking account of the framework for its future relationship with the Union. The agreement shall be negotiated in accordance with Article 2183 of the Treaty on the Functioning of the European Union. It shall be concluded on behalf of the Union by the Council acting by a qualified majority after obtaining the consent of the European Parliament. So the European Parliament, they consented already. They did. And a member state, which here is Britain, the election said, yes, Brexit. But right now, there is confusion whether Theresa May will be able to stick to her timetable and trigger Article 50 by the end of March 2017 and leave the EU by spring 2019. So, a lot of the mainstream press have branded this decision as humiliating for the government, and it looks like the Tories are dismissing any talk of having an early general election. However, Theresa May, who came out very Thatcher-esque and told the European leaders that the setback will not derail her plan to begin Brexit talks by the end of March 2017. What's she saying? What if Parliament throw a spanner in the works and say no? What does she mean by that? The bookmakers have actually slashed the odds on Brexit not happening now. And that idiot Nigel Farage of UKIP, he's speaking about there's going to be a revolution if Parliament blocks Brexit. Shut the fuck up, because if there's revolution, which to me suggests there'll be riot on the streets, you won't be in none of it, yeah? You'll be hidden away somewhere. So shut the fuck up about revolution and all this shit here, yeah? It's politics as usual. Simple as that. Well, if the judgment leads to the government being forced to push a bill through Parliament, there's going to probably be a lot of amendments on the Brexit bill, and there's literally going to be no chance that we're going to be able to exit in 2019. No chance at all. The government have confirmed it would challenge the ruling at the Supreme Court probably on December the 7th. The speculation is that the case could end up at the European Court of Justice. Downing Street have dismissed any talk of an early general election with just a narrow majority in the House of Commons and most MPs having backed Remain as opposed to Brexit. The ruling by the court presents a new hurdle to the PM, who will be far from certain to get Article 50 through. When asked about the possibility of an early election, a Conservative spokesman said, "Our position has been clear that there shouldn't be an election until 2020. And that remains the Prime Minister's view, Theresa May. Current polls suggest that Theresa May would be returned to office with a significant increased majority as Labour flounders on some of its lowest poll ratings in recent history. I don't know how much Jeremy Corbyn has to do with that, the Labour leader. On a remarkable morning, the pound immediately surged on the news as the markets judged it would make it more difficult, at the very least, for Miss May to pursue a so-called hard Brexit. The Liberal leader Tim Farron, he was obviously happy. He held the decision and says the chance to say no to an irresponsible hard Brexit that risks our economy and our jobs. He said it's critical that the government now lay out their negotiating to Parliament before such a vote is held. It is, however, thought, though, most MPs will not seek to block Brexit because, although it was a majority who voted pro-Remain, mostly Labour MCs now accept the public's decision, the majority of the public's decision in June. However, a lot of MPs and peers in the House of Lords could be handed the opportunity to challenge or even delay the process if they are not satisfied with the government's strategy. So it goes on and 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 on. But the Brexit was on the 23rd of June, and a lot of people didn't understand that it was always unlikely to be a smooth exit or Brexit. Anyway, so this won't be the last twist in the tale. Before 2017, or 2019, I should say, before 2019, this won't be the last. Let's hope it don't stir up extreme right-wing madness and idiots like Nigel Farage needs to go sit down, man. Seriously, your stupidness. You're a grown man, so acting like an idiot. Dude's trying to come off like Enoch Powell and revolution, rivers of blood, and but shut up, man. Shut up. You know, some of these guys don't realize that, okay, you have your view, but when a politician just has to stick to the facts, man. Don't have emotive statements on sensitive issues. I mean, there was already been one MP, a mother, who was murdered over this stuff here because she was pro-Remain. She wanted to stay and not exit. You know, it's stupidness, man. It's stupid. You know, straight after Brexit, there was reported racial attacks on various people all around the country because a lot of people, I'm not going to use stupid or be condescending, but a lot of people have a very basic grasp on things. They don't sit down and think, maybe I better find out a little more about it before I have a talk or just wade in with both feet and fists. You know, a lot of people, they thought as soon as the referendum said Brexit, that, oh, we can just start throwing foreigners out of the country. That's how a lot of people saw it. And that's not the reality. Yeah? A lot of people are going to be happy right now, and a lot of people are going to be really vexed. But, you know, you got to keep it in a little perspective. Either way, you see it.